What's going on, my fellow troops? My name is Xavvo and welcome to a brand new video. So today we are going to be ranking all of the score streaks in Black Ops 6 multiplayer in a tier list. I actually didn't think this would be a kind of tier list video I would ever make because frankly most of my tier list videos have been sticking to maps or the mastery camos, but I actually kind of got a bit short of ideas maybe a few days ago, a week ago, whatever. I was just asking like the AI, I hate to admit it, I was actually asking AI for ideas, and it brought this up. It said you could just talk about features of the game, rank them in a tier list, score streaks, weapons, all that kind of stuff, and then I thought about it and I was like, that's actually a really good idea. So here we are doing exactly that, and there is a total of 22 actual score streaks and there's 23 if you're including the nuke. So yeah, so as you can see, here's the tier list that I've made myself. That will be linked in the description as always if you want to check it out and rank these yourself. So we start from like the 400 score right up to the 1700 for score streaks, and then there's the 30 kill, which is the nuke. So let's just start off by letting you guys know, if you are new around here, how my tier lists work differently, you know, to the typical tier lister. So mine, I don't do them from S to C tier or whatever the fuck. I do God tier for the absolute best of the best. Then we've got amazing. Then we've got pretty good, decent, bad, and then we've got God awful. The complete opposite of God tier. This is where the absolute diarrhea of all things go, is right at the bottom. Now, in the very, very past, at the start of these tier list series, I did like 9th layer of hell or whatever the fuck, but I just figured I might as well change that to God awful because it just makes sense for God tier, God awful. Anyway, let's get into this presentation mode, and I'm gonna just quickly sort these into the order that they come in, and I'll see you in a second.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so they've all been put into ascending order, so I guess let's begin. So the first one we have on the list is the Scout Pulse. This is a very, very simple streak. All it really does is just flares enemies up on the specific player's minimap, the one that calls it in, as opposed to a UAV where it would just, you know, show the whole team where everybody is. I think the Scout Pulse probably does last a little bit less time than the UAV. Not exactly sure, but I think this was a great addition to add into Black Ops 6. I don't know if there's ever been a Scout Pulse equivalent in all the Call of Duties, but as far as I'm concerned, this is a new feature, like a new type of UAV that's cheaper to get, and it only helps you specifically. And I think that's pretty useful in the fact that you want to get the kills and you don't want your teammates to know where everyone is just so they can pinch the kills as well. So if you're feeling a little bit selfish and you want something nice and simple, this is actually extremely good. So I think the Scout Pulse honestly gets to go up there in amazing. I think this is just fantastic, and I use this so much because it's just so good. The second one we have on the list is the RCXD, a timeless classic. This one has been in the games for a very long time. I like the fact that it's obviously remote control. That's obviously what RC means, remote control, I guess. But it's a really nice, simple streak. Doesn't take a lot to get, and it blows up upon detonation. So I think it's a pretty nice thing, and the fact you can drive it around into people is quite nice, but there is the fact that people can actually shoot it before it gets to them, which just sets it back a little bit. I think the fact that it's very limited to how much destruction it can actually do, that also limits it. So you need a lot of people in one area for this to really do a lot of damage. For me, the RCXD, I think it's going to go in pretty good. Honestly, it's not quite amazing. I wouldn't find myself using it that much, but I like that it's something that's been around for a long time and it's always returning in every game, and it's, you know, controllable. I think that's pretty cool. Now, the next one we have is the SAM turret. This is basically like an anti-air defense score streak. It doesn't really do a lot for most of the game, and it will probably just sit there at the back of the map. That's usually where most people place them, is at the back of the map, just to kind of foolproof them from being destroyed. So SAM turrets, whilst they're very useful at taking streaks down in those matches where somebody's calling in a fuck ton of streaks, it doesn't really serve a great purpose and you don't really get a lot out of it. And granted, for the fact that you can get something way better for 400, there's not really many times I'll ever use this, honestly, but I think for what it does, it's pretty good. So I'm going to put it, well, I say pretty good, but what I mean is decent. It's a decent streak. There's nothing really too special to the SAM turret, if I'm going to be honest. Now, the next one we've got on the list is the UAV. This is a timeless classic. UAVs are in every game, and I'm pretty sure everybody uses it. I mean, it is like the go-to streak for that first slot, and I honestly think for what it can do, the fact that it shows where people are, it's pretty affordable, and it shows the whole team what's going on around you. I think because of the fact this gives you so much comfort in knowing where enemies are, I think this has to go up there in God tier. yeah, just an absolute classic streak. This one, I just think it really deserves the God tier spot because I find that even though I haven't used it much over the Scout Pulse in this game specifically, it's definitely something that I've used in most of the games, and it's usually always a go-to streak for like most players anyway. The next one we have on the list is the Archangel Launcher. Now, we've had probably similar kind of streaks to this in the past, but the Archangel is essentially just like a guided missile rocket launcher. It's pretty cool. I've been using it as a fill-in slot because honestly, with the middle slot, I just never know what to select at an affordable price that I would actually find myself using. And the Archangel can get you a decent amount of kills. It has a pretty good lifespan in terms of how long it can stay in the air for, and it can do some pretty destructive kills. But in terms of its overall, like, go-to-ness, like, would someone want to use it all the time? Would I want to use this all the time? It's not really exciting, and you do have to stop still to actually use it, so it's not... You have to kind of find a place to hide if you're going to use this to get some additional kills, which is kind of the case with a lot of other streaks. So for me personally, I think the Archangel, it really just kind of goes up in... I think it's probably just going to go in pretty good. It's going to go up there with the RCXD. They're both controllable streaks, and they both do kind of minimal amount of kills. The most I've probably got with an Archangel is like 3 to 4 kills. So it's not really that special, but still a pretty good streak. The next one is the Counter UAV. This is just essentially a, you know, a counter streak. It counters the UAV, right? That's the main thing it does anyway. It makes you hidden to the enemy team. Don't really use it as much as the UAV. I think for me, this is just going to go into amazing. The next one is the 750 score streak, and this one is the care package. I do think, genuinely, even though I don't use it that often, I like that there's a gambling odd with this streak. You call it in, and you don't know what streak you might get. You could get, like, the Dreadnought as a very rare item, or you could get the LDBR, or you could just get a UAV. You never know what you're going to get with this. I think the fact that there's this, like, variation factor to it, I think that takes it a step up from where I would originally have placed it, because I would have originally placed it in, like, decent, but the fact that you don't know what you're going to get with it, I think that takes it up to pretty good. Whilst I don't use it that often, I've definitely used it the fair few times, and I've gotten some pretty cool things from it. The only thing that's bad about this is literally that if you call it in and somebody comes and whoops your ass, they're going to just pinch it off you. So anybody on your team can pinch it, and so can the enemy team. So it's just one of those things that has a caveat to it, but needless to say, pretty damn good. Now, the next one we have on the list is the LDBR. This is basically like a cluster strike from the Modern Warfare series. Essentially just guides a bunch of like explosives to one area. I honestly think, if I'm going to be brutally honest with you, it's bad. It is a bad streak. There is not really much of a purpose for using this. I mean, the cluster strike was way more addictive to use in MW 2019 and whatnot, but LDBR in this game, with how fast the gameplay actually is in this game, like the time to kill, the overall like speed of moving around, everything is so fast paced. There's literally no chance someone's going to stay in one specific point unless it's like a hard point mode or a domination mode. And most of the time, from my own experience, if I see an LDBR called in on the spot, I will literally just run the fuck out of there and it won't kill me. So the people who are calling this in are likely never ever going to experience much out of it at all. And the fact that this is an 800 score is ridiculous. It's not even good. I would rather go with the care package or go with the Archangel. Like, this thing is just not very good, and I don't care what anyone says. I just think that thing needs to go in bad, personally. The next one on the list, however, this is a positive turn because this one is the Death Machine. The Death Machine just basically being a minigun with a set amount of ammo, and I think this thing can go up there in amazing. Absolutely awesome. I love using the Death Machine. It's just super addictive when you get this thing in. It's super fast, and it kills people in literally half a second. It's just brutal as fuck, and it's very much worth the score. I do like it. Thankfully, if you select it and you do die and you don't actually shoot any bullets out of it, you can still use it upon respawning, and that wasn't a feature that you could have in, like, let's say Black Ops 4. If you called a specialist ability and then you got killed, yeah, it would literally just get rid of it even if you didn't use it. So that's another thing I just like to throw in there about this game in general. I just like that score streaks don't actually disappear upon dying unless you've actually began using them. So that's just a nice feature there. But the next one on the list we have is the Napalm Strike, the good old fire dropping plane. You gotta love the Napalm Strike, man. Napalm, I think this one's gonna go up there in amazing. Once again, I love this thing. It's so fucking destructive. You can call this thing, right? right, it'll drop its initial burst of fire rockets, whatever, it'll bomb the middle of the map or wherever you've selected on the map, so you get that choice of obviously choosing where to place it, but it will take a straight path down the map, especially on Nuketown. It's really destructive. It'll blow up and burn everybody that it hits immediately, and there will be a remaining fire effect just left there, and anybody who walks into it is immediately killed. I mean, it is just so destructive, this streak, and I think that in of itself makes it awesome. The next one we have is the hand cannon. Now, whilst this is very satisfying to use when you do get those kills, the ammo is limited, but in a way that's not very productive, because with the death machine, it's limited in ammo, but that ammo is mostly going to kill people when you shoot it at them. There's very few chances that you could actually miss the shot. With the hand cannon, it requires another level of precision, and there's like this visual recoil when you're shooting it, which I really do not like, and I honestly think that that takes it down basically to decent, because I would have put it in pretty good, but honestly I think it's just decent. I don't think there's very many times that I would want to use it. Now, yeah, it's nice to see it in the game. I love seeing score streaks returning, but the hand cannon really just, it's got its caveats, and a lot of the time it does mean that you'll miss a lot of those shots. The visual recoil makes it less enjoyable to use, and the kills, because of how many shots you're likely to miss, it's very likely you're not going to get that many kills with it. And again, if you get at least 1 or 2 kills and then you miss the other ones and someone kills you, bam, the streak is gone. So it's really not worth the score that you're going for. But there you go, that's just my 2 cents. As all of these are, just to recall, guys, this is my opinions. Don't get fucking mad with me. I know that sounds stupid to have to say, but there's some people who take tier lists to heart. They take it like it's the gospel if I say something's bad. Just chill out, okay? Alright, so the next one we have on the list is the sentry turret. Now, whilst this can operate and it can shoot people from very long ranges and it has a very quick snap-on speed, I don't find that often I'll, want to use it, because I think, one, it's an extremely lazy streak. You're really just putting something down and having it guard the map. It's basically you ploying a camper for you. That's really what it is. You're just ploying a camper to just do kills for you in one specific spot, and it makes everybody else's experience a living hell. And I get that's the fun maybe in streaks, but I don't like using it, and I don't think I like it being used on me either. I just don't like that the sentry turret basically makes it hard for you to even walk around the damn map, because this thing has laser precision, and there is obviously the fact that if somebody does get behind it, they can break it just by pummeling it a few times and then it's gone. So it's not very strong, and for the amount of score you're going for just to get an armed turret to do kills for you, not really worth it. But I'm honestly just going to say I'm probably more likely to use it than a hand cannon. Actually, no, maybe I'm not. I think I'll just put it in decent. Now, this one's a more recent one. This is the Grim Reaper. They added this in, I think, a season or 2 ago, and I've been testing it out in private matches, and it's so fucking addictive, this thing. The Grim Reaper is essentially I guess it kind of reminds me of the Megalodon launcher. I don't know if that's a thing that was ever in COD, but I know that it was in Pixel Gun 3D. You're a real one if you used to play that shit in your little... It's basically one of those rocket launchers with a zoom-in scope, and it is so fucking powerful. The precision on this is amazing. It's just straight on the dot. It's just doosh, 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 and it blows everything up in it in just mere seconds. This is so addictive, and it comes with tons of rockets. I think it comes with, I guess, 2 barrels worth. I don't even know how you'd refer to it, but it's very good. This, for me, goes up in God tier. Honestly, I had so much fun using the Grim Reaper, and I just think this is such a great streak, and I'm probably way more likely to use it than anything in the Amazing tab. So, absolutely phenomenal stuff. Now, the next streak we got is the Hellstorm. Now, you'd think this is a bit like the cruise missile. You know, you kind of control it, but this is actually better than the cruise missile from the other Call of Duty games. This one actually comes armed with guidable rockets. You can actually shoot rockets out of it, just blasting it, and you can guide the actual main rocket itself towards your desired target. So it has a little bit more air control in terms of what you can do with it and how much more destruction you can do with this. I think for me, the Hellstorm gets to go up there in amazing. It's just a really fun streak, and it's very simple. It doesn't have to do a lot, but yet it does have great precision, and it has a lot of destructibility because you're coming from above and landing onto the map, so you can hit people a lot better. And there's less chance for people to run away and hide from the streak, because unless you're in a building, most of the time you're going to be out in the open and you can't really run anywhere, because this thing's way faster than any running man. So it's just fantastic. A way better version of the cruise missile for sure. Now, the next one we have on the list is the interceptors. May I say, there's not been any need for me to put any of these so far in God Awful. There probably won't be much need for me to put any of these in God Awful. But the interceptors for me are just bad. There is no reason I would ever use the interceptors. You're literally relying heavily on players to have streaks in the game. And that might be useful if there is a bunch of those in. But other than that, most of the time I'm going into the games and like 90% of the players are just not that good and they're not calling in streaks. Like most people are sweating, if that makes sense, but they're not actually good. They'll sweat a fuck ton, they'll get killed, then they'll sweat a fuck ton again, then they'll get killed. No one is genuinely ever that good that they're calling in tons of streaks to the point where I need this to be a whole slot in my Scorestreak tab. It's really not worth it, and that's all it does. It's just a bunch of planes that come down the map like 2 times. It takes 2 sweeps down the map, I'm pretty sure, and shoots a bunch of airstreaks and then leaves. So it's just bad by every metric. It has its reason to be in the game, but it's very dependent on other people, and I don't like it when streaks are dependent on other people or they just don't have much destructibility to them because it just makes them basically less enjoyable to use. The next one we have is the Watchdog Helo. This thing, it does take about 2 or 3 rockets to take down, but in terms of bullets, it's quite hard to take this thing down. And I have to say, the Watchdog Helo for me, I think it has to go up there in God tier. I'm saying it. It's God tier. I have used this Watchdog Helo in so many Call of Duty games. It is just so goddamn addictive. This thing just patrols the air for you for what feels like minutes of the game. It's just constantly going around, just shooting people with precision. Your feed will just be like, yep, kill, 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 just constantly down the side. This thing is so fucking brutal. And unless somebody else is calling in like an Archangel to take it out, or they're using some sort of interceptors or other stuff like that, or they're using their launchers to try and blow it out of the air, it's constantly moving, which makes it harder to hit unless you're using a lock-on, and it's just very powerful. So God tier is definitely where I'm going to put that one. The next one we have is the Strategic Bomber. This one sweeps down a certain designated route of the map and it will just go down it, shoot a bunch of bombs. This for me, I'm very unlikely to use it because of how high the score actually is, but it isn't that much higher than a Watchdog Helo. At the same time, it's not as efficient as a Watchdog Helo. It can only ever blow up one area of the map. For me personally, it's kind of on par with the Napalm Strike, except it doesn't have that burn up effect afterwards, but it's still very, very good. I mean, it definitely can do a lot of destruction. I think it's going to go up in amazing. Again, it's just a streak that maybe I wouldn't use as much as the Watchdog Helo. I haven't really used it up until recently when I started testing it out, but it's definitely worth using. Next one we have is the War Machine. This one is kind of similar to the Grim Reaper. It's essentially just like a grenade launcher. That's essentially all it is. It's just a grenade launcher. It comes with a pretty decent amount of rockets in it as well, or grenades. I think for me, this again, amazing. It just goes up there and amazing. It's just really addictive to use. It's very simple to fire with this thing, and yeah, those things do bounce around, blow up immediately. It's really fucking cool, and I think for the score that you're going for, yeah, maybe it could be cheaper because it's not much different to the Death Machine in terms of its overall destructiveness, but amazing is definitely where I'm going to put it. Now, the next one we have is the AGR Mark 1. This is essentially just the little, I can't remember what the fuck we called it, but it's that thing that was in Modern Warfare 2019. It's like a little turret guy that goes around on wheels. It's like a buggy. It's a little shooting buggy. The movement with this thing is atrocious. Can I just say that? The reversing and the movement with this thing is so fucking clunky. But in terms of the fact that it's mobile, it can move around, it makes it much more useful. But at the same time, I don't really think it would go up in amazing because I don't like the movement on it. People can destroy it pretty quickly, but it can be quite satisfying to get those kills. And it's a pretty funny streak to use. And, you know, we gotta love some streaks that are funny. So I think for me, it's just going in pretty good. The AGR Mark 1, it's usable, but I don't think most of the time I'm going to find myself using this, especially for a 1,200 score. It's really not worth that much, but hey, the Harp. This is essentially an extended UAV, and the UAV is already in God tier, so you guys, you got to know where this one's going. God tier. Honestly, the Harp is just the UAV on steroids. This thing is like keeping a constant sweep on players, and it's faster as well. So it's not just the UAV, but it's a faster UAV and a longer lasting UAV. It just gives you a way more bigger scope of where players are. It's constantly scanning the maps, you knowing in lifetime like the refresh of where people are on the minimap, and it's just so good at highlighting everybody. I think in fact the UAV, whilst it has like a counteract with perks where it kind of you can hide from it, I don't think people can hide from the Harp. map, if I'm not wrong. I think this actually gives you an exact pinpoint of where every player is, and that just makes it even better than the UAV. But yeah, definitely is going up there. The next one we have is the Chopper Gunner. Oh, this one is definitely going up in God tier. Fuck yeah, I know I'm giving a lot of God tiers out today, but I think it really deserves it. I mean, the Chopper Gunner is like the Watchdog Helo, but you get to be in control of it. I think that's really fucking cool. I believe you get different ammo, unless I'm thinking of the Dreadnought, but honestly, that is really good. And speaking of the Dreadnought, that is also God tier. I have to say it, I've used the Dreadnought the other day, and it's way better than the gunship. If you know the gunship from the other Call of Duty games, it's like that, but even better. So not only do you get missiles, you get actual bullets, and you get, like, just different, more precise kind of shots as well, like laser blaster shots or whatever. When this thing actually is done in the air, you have this animation where your character basically stands up, walks to the back of the plane, and he basically calls in a daisy cutter, which is like, it's like this bomb that comes down on a parachute, and it lands on an area of the map and gets you some extra kills. That is such a nice finishing touch to have that in there. And I think the Dreadnought definitely goes up there, as well as the Chopper Gunner. And finally, we have the Nuke. 30 kills. This thing is fucking destructive. It is obviously, it ends the game, but on top of that, the animation for this, the cutscene before you've called this in, it is so creepy. It's scary in all the right ways. I love this nuke. I think that as well, God tier. Absolutely phenomenal nuke kill streak in this game. If you've never used it, try out in private match. It's really addictive. But there you go. That is actually today's tier list. That's how we're ranking the score streaks in this game. So as you can see, overwhelmingly, most of the streaks in this game are really fun to use. And I think that's a great thing. That's probably one of the reasons why I like Treyarch games so much, is that they know how to do things that make the game feel arcadey, fast, and addictive. And this is something I definitely think the game has its strong suit on, is the score streaks. So it'll be interesting to see what other streaks might come into the game in the next season, or season reloaded that we have for season 5. But yeah, this has been my tier list. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and obviously subscribe if you like the Call of Duty content or you're looking forward to me playing Battlefield 6. Yeah, be sure to subscribe for that as well. For those of you who obviously did see my community post, I want to say thank you to all of you who just kind of left some support and your condolences, because obviously you might have not noticed, but about 4 days ago, I honestly thought I was going to need a week off, but I only needed about 4 days. The first 2 days were fucking brutal, man. My cat, Cloudy, the one I've never showed on this channel, he did pass away, and we had him for 7 years. I mean, that cat was such a character. The things that cat would do, it's just, he will be missed. He will be greatly missed, and, you know, it fucked me up. It really fucked me up when that happened, and I'm still not fully out of the grieving process. Like, I still find there's often times where I'm just going downstairs expecting to see Cloudy, because I'm so used to seeing Oreo, his brother, and he's not here, and that just, it just makes me fucking sad, man. And then just seeing how it's affected Oreo as well, I feel so bad for him. Honestly, I really do. But yeah, so thank you just to anyone who saw that community post and, you know, you left some kind words. But yeah, that's why I haven't really posted in 4 days, which is not atypical of me. I'm quite known for posting every 3, 4, 5 days, whatever. But, you know, there you go. So just letting you guys know what was going on. Thought I'd leave this to the end of the video because I didn't want to ramble on and piss anybody off who wanted to just get into the tier list. But again, like I say, with this tier list, guys, link will be in the description. And yeah, but other than that, thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.